Paper Mario has had a difficult history. Since Super Paper Mario came out, the series has had many controversial features, with Super Paper Mario lacking unique characters and the lack of a fleshed out combat system. Although, I really liked Super Paper Mario. Then Sticker Star came out and completely fucked everything up by removing XP, party members, and made battling require you to use disposable items. Nobody liked this game, so Nintendo thought it was a great idea to make a sequel to it with Color Splash. Though Color Splash wasn't as bad as Sticker Star, it still had the big problems the previous game had with no XP and no party members. Now we are on the third game since Sticker Star, and they have improved even more from Color Splash. But is it worth getting? The story starts off with Mario and Luigi driving to Peach's castle for the Origami festival. However, when they arrive, they realize that something is off and Peach is different. After asking some bizarre questions, Mario then gets thrown into a dungeon where he then has to escape. Upon trying to escape, he meets Olivia, an origami rebel, and her brother Ollie, who has taken over the castle and turned everything into origami. You then decide with Olivia to take back the castle by removing the 5 streamers located around the Mushroom Kingdom. The combat in this game is unlike anything else in the series. Using the new ring-based system, the combat is more like a puzzle game than a turn-based RPG. You look at where the enemies are located and line them up, and if you do it correctly you get an attack bonus which can sometimes lead to you killing the enemies in one hit. In the previous Paper Mario games, many people were annoyed about the fact that you had to use up attacks, but in this game you have basic attacks that you can use as many times as you want, with add-on optional attacks that do more damage and work on different enemies that are used up, albeit from multiple turns. You can, however, stack these moves, so if you are worried about running out of moves, there is not really any chance of you doing that as long as you have enough coins, which is likely since the amount of coins you get in this game is insane. In this game, unlike the previous Paper Mario games, the overworld is based on one connected world map that you go through via load screens. This allows you to easily backtrack to other areas and get items you might have missed since the game isn't really segmented at all apart from the themed sections. In the overworld, you will encounter missing patches of land that you'll have to fill with confetti. This will give you coins or treasure. Some of these patches of land are well hidden, which makes the overworld more interesting. Another thing the overworld has are the toads, which you can collect and have them help you in battle. You find the toads everywhere and some of them are pretty well hidden away. Other than that, the puzzles you go through consist mainly of using the hammer or throwing confetti. The hammer is capable of doing a lot of things like moving obstacles, getting items to fall over, and killing enemies on the wall. The last collectible I want to talk about are the trophies. These trophies are scattered throughout the world in treasure chests, and there is a museum you can go to where you can look at them all. A major part of this game are the bosses, and they did a good job to make them seem different from other games. Unlike the normal battles where you have to match up the enemies in a row, the bosses make you get Mario to a certain part of the board so you can hit the enemy. Once you get to the attack point, you then have options of what attack you want to use, and then you can hit the enemy. Once the enemy gets to a certain point, you will then be able to use the 1000-fold arms to finish them off. Once you beat the boss, you will then receive a HP and attack increase similar to the method used in Color Splash. Other things I liked about the game is the music. A lot of the tracks are very good and relaxing, with some sounding like Splatoon and some sounding like Pokemon or Animal Crossing. The graphics are nice, with a noticeable improvement to the lighting from Color Splash. In some parts of the game they have these real-time battles with robot Goombas that are really cool and probably the best part of the game, though they are only in certain parts and the main combat is way more common. In conclusion, this game is hard for me to recommend to RPG fans, but somewhat easy to recommend to people that like puzzles, or Mario fans in general. The puzzles in this game are actually surprisingly good, and the combat doesn't really get stale at all, though there isn't really any reason to do the combat unless you need to get coins or graffiti, but considering how many coins you get and how you can get graffiti from basically everything, I doubt that will be the case. For Mario fans, there is enough here to make you interested, and the overworld is very Mario-like with great theming and good atmosphere. I like the game, but I can see why people more into progression wouldn't be.